Here we go. We are live. I'm just going to make sure we're live on all the platform. Welcome everyone to a new episode of our leadership series. I have with me a delightful and a beautiful woman today, Bridget Mimari. I'm so honored and so happy to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Welcome. I'm very excited to be here.
So I am today. So this series is about leadership, and it's presenting women from all around the world who are leading their field, they're leading their expertise. And I've been watching the incredible work you are doing, and I would love for you to tell us how you switched from being a lawyer into becoming a reference in money healing, in coaching, in resilience, in abundance, in all of that. Tell me.
Yes, I would love. Yeah, I would love to share my journey with you. So, from a very young age, I always had the idea that I needed to do something to, career wise, to take care of myself, to
Mhm.
never depend on anyone. That I needed to choose a career path that I would make money. Of course, use my gifts and talents, but make money so that I would never have to depend on anyone. That was my mindset as a 21 year
Wow.
old
Really?
21 year old girl. Yeah, I mean that.
Wow.
I was I was a natural student. I'm intelligent. It's like, okay, this was a good fit to go into law, but that
Uh-huh.
was my driving motivation. If I,
Uh-huh.
reflect back on that time, and even in law school, as I'm studying, I remember telling myself, like, you got to do well on these exams because you need to get a good clerkship so you can get a good job so you can make money so you can never depend on anyone. So
Good, but that's a
it,
good, yeah.
it is a good, but
It
at the
is
same
good
time,
because
it
this is
came
what we
from,
all wanted.
of course, yeah, independence, but
Mhm.
there it went to a level of hyper independence,
Mhm.
and in the wounding that was really behind that. So I had a very successful 15-year. Actually, as of this fall, I'll have my law license for 20 years. So
Years
back in
already.
yeah,
Wow.
20 years. But so around 15-year mark is when I embarked on a personal development journey.
Uh-huh.
Got into some entrepreneurial spaces that really opened my mind.
Uh-huh. That's
Lawyers
around
about
COVID. Is that like 5 years ago?
But it was right. Yes, it was in 2020, but it was right before COVID
Oh,
hit that
really?
I
So it was like it's almost the universe woke you
yes.
up before. It's like you
Yes,
had
but
a.
I actually had a near death experience with the birth of my fourth child in
Oh.
28 and 2017 is when he was born, and 2018 is when I joined this entrepreneurial space, and but with a still a very fixed mindset, and I had no exposure to any of this. So then by the time COVID hit, it all was like you said, it was like the universe was just handing it to me on a silver platter.
Yeah, it was
And
handing it to you before.
yes,
That's the
yes,
beauty of it.
before
So you have like
yes.
something protecting you. That's
Abs-
incredible.
Absolutely. So by the time that I actually had joined a coaching certification program right before the world shut down, so I actually went through it during
Uh-huh.
COVID,
Uh-huh.
and then launched my coaching business in 2020. And then
Okay.
it just then the unfolding of the journey, personal development, spiritual awakening, so much healing work is just as it does for everybody, just unfolded and
Mhm.
it's in its divine timing over the last 5 years.
Mhm.
So but it was just some nudges from all directions that got
Mhm.
me in this, and me just being open and curious
Yeah.
and willing
Mhm.
to explore other parts of myself and other parts of what's out there and available to us.
Wow. But also, there is an excellence in the way you talk about your career because you're like a very good student. You're like, I'm going to create the best life for me. So there is this drive to excellence,
Absolutely. Yes.
which is incredible to see because you got it from yourself, right? And pretty young. Where
Yes,
does
yeah,
it come from?
absolutely. Like it was always in me, it's
Yeah.
innate,
Yeah.
to achieve. And I recognized what my natural talents were, and I went in that direction. Right, it was like
Yeah.
I went into college as a biology major, and I thought this is hard for me. I don't need to be doing this.
Yeah.
Reading and writing is like what's natural for me, so I learned to follow my intuition, pivot, yeah, and created a very successful career,
Mm.
and something I'm proud of. Just was not my
Of
it's not my
course.
sole calling. Not It's not my sole purpose to practice law.
But probably you needed that step to be able to come into coaching with so much wisdom.
I agree.
And rigorousness, right? Because you have that rigor, you have that from, I was telling it in French, rigor is like, but it's rigor that you bring from
Yes.
being a lawyer, you know.
Yes. I
And
agree.
that's something incredible to be able to have.
Yeah, I agree. It's been an asset.
It is a big asset. We have so much similarities as you're talking. I'm like, how can that be possible? Because I switched to being, a mentor for women around the same time. We have 4 children. Mine was born 2016, and we switched career. Isn't it incredible how we align with like
Yes.
so far away, yet you'll find some mirrors.
Yes. All the constellation, all the connections, the invisible strings that go
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how is it to be a mom of 4 and to be such a successful and beautiful woman always?
It has
What's
been a stretch. It
uh-huh.
has been a challenge, a beautiful challenge.
How old are
And
your children?
so my two older children are my stepkids that I
Uh-huh.
take full ownership of. They are 22 and 19, and
Uh-huh.
then we have a 9-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So
Very
a big
close.
spread. Yes, the
Yeah.
two here. Yes, but
Yeah,
and
the
they're
two
all
and
very,
two. Uh-huh.
they're all very very close with each other.
Mm,
They all have a beautiful relationship, and it has been it has children are a mirror. They are motherhood is a portal to all kinds of healing and yeah, just expansion. So it has
mm,
been it's a challenge, and then to be able to balance that with um a career or even ambitions or any type of
mm,
outside work
mm.
is it just requires the best of you and a lot of grace, to give yourself a lot of grace.
I love that. I love that so much. You need to give yourself a lot of grace. I love it. Do
Yes.
you give yourself a lot of grace?
I do now. I do now. And early in my marriage, early in motherhood, I did not. And
Yeah.
through my own, healing journey,
Mm,
especially with doing a lot of inner child work, I've given myself a lot of grace that
mm, mm,
we're not perfect, but what's
mm,
important is repairing, with the relationship if there's a rupture,
mm.
being present, being mindful, and honoring when you have, and as you know, like when you have 4 kids, they're all different. There
Yeah.
might be lots of similarities. There's a lot of uncanny personality, mannerisms,
Mm,
similarities, but then at the end of the day, they're all unique
mm.
souls and unique individuals, and you really have to honor that, and that can be challenging
It could be
too.
challenging because they trigger us differently. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's incredible. You said something so important, and I would love for everyone listening just to repeat it, that you get to give yourself time to heal and time to understand yourself. Then you give yourself grace. What's the
Yes.
process? Can you walk us through the process? I know this is what you do with your clients in your coaching business. How do we get to really reconnect with that grace when we lose it completely, when we don't find it?
Yes, it's all about the journey within, right?
Mhm.
And it's easy and cliche to say, "Oh, yeah, love yourself more." Okay, well,
Yeah, that's right.
how do you
Mm.
do that? Or
Yeah.
like, especially in the heat of the moment. And I find that with healing work, personal development work, it's all about creating this gap, like a space between your feeling and what's happening in your body and emotions and your actual reaction, your
Mm.
reaction towards others, but
Mm.
also the dialogue that's you're speaking to yourself, the shame that's being triggered, and you wanting to just wallow in it or bathe in it,
Mm.
but to
Right.
create, the more we can, the more healing is done, the more emotional intelligence is created and fostered, the more nervous system flexibility that we have, we can
I love that.
create that gap. And even if like in the beginning it might just be like the whisper of a gap, like ooh, and then over time it does, where you can give yourself space to
Uh-huh.
say before you react, before you
Yeah.
take on another wave of shame or another, like, oh, I can't believe I did that, or
Or
oh,
anger sometimes.
anger. Yes,
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah.
is that that you have a moment that you
Yeah.
can reflect. And over time, it's a muscle you have to flex. You cultivate that
Yeah,
where
I love that. It is a muscle.
it's a
That's right.
muscle because you're not going to get
Yes.
it right. And
No.
I can be a
And you're
forever
gonna
student
be
of this. And
aching when you do
yes,
it if it's not
yes, it's
right.
gonna
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable. It's gonna be
Yeah.
stretchy, and you're gonna sometimes feel like you're mastered it, and then all of a sudden you'll have a, like what happened here? It just to continue to work on creating that gap. And that, there's humanness in there where it's like, I'm not always perfect, but if I can create this gap where I can reflect, I can
Yeah.
pause, I can become aware, then I can do more, I can do better, I can
Yeah, I love that.
expand. Yeah.
Yeah. So you like basically you have like a buffer zone, which you
Yeah.
call a gap, where nobody gets to push the button and trigger and like an unexpected reaction from you. So you have
Yes.
time to ground yourself no matter what
Yes.
you do.
And sometimes it's yourself pushing that button. Sometimes
Oh
it's,
yeah.
our shadow self
Yeah.
that likes to
Mm,
push the buttons to trigger. And it's like,
mm,
okay, I noticed this about myself, right? Just always being curious and open. And I always tell my clients, like, when we're doing this work and you're seeing it, try not to judge yourself. And that is
mm,
often, that's where the grace comes in, right? It's like
mm,
often the most challenging part is to not judge yourself or shame yourself,
mm.
for not being perfect or repeating a pattern, or even maybe not even understanding where it's coming from. Just like, why is this happening?
Yeah, we say that when something happens, like, why is this happening to me? So, how
Yes.
do you do it? How would a person listening to us today say, like, when things like that happen, how do you calm yourself?
So that, I mean, there's obviously, nervous system regulation tools and
Mhm.
practices. There's, endless, there's education and there's awareness, to sort of I think a good starting point is pick your favorite tool, like whatever your favorite practice array. Is it breathing? Is it,
Breathing.
is
Mhm.
it tapping? Is it,
Tapping, yeah.
there's all,
Meditation. Could
yes,
be meditation.
meditation was my gateway into not just regulating my nervous system, but healing it and doing a lot of this deeper work.
Mm.
That was a foreign concept to me, to be able to sit still and
Yeah, I
just
know. When you're a lawyer and you're ready to always like to argue, and you're like, what are you gonna get
yes.
yourself?
I had to, when I learned to meditate and I
Yeah.
decided I was going to learn, I had
Uh,
to do it in the bathtub because I was trapped. I knew that, like, I
That's
couldn't
so
get, I
amazing.
literally made myself be like, you're going to sit in this bathtub and you're going to be in your bubble bath. And like, everyone knows not to bother mom when she's in there. But like, I was trapped. I couldn't get up and like, go
Go check
clean the
something.
kitchen, go
Yeah.
check something. It was
I
very
love that.
uncomfortable. It was very
I
uncomfortable.
love that.
That was
That's
my,
so
that was
funny.
my hack into
And how
starting
long
that
would you
practice.
sit there? Like
Oh,
2
at
minutes,
first it
3 minutes?
would be like 5 minutes or
Oh
10
yeah.
minutes maximum, and then I built up, and now I don't need, I can just drop into
You don't
meditation.
need to trap
I
yourself.
don't
You're
need to
okay
chat.
now.
Yes, I don't need to listen to music. I don't need to do anything. I can just sit
You
down,
can
drop
sit there.
in. Yes,
I
but that
love
was a
that.
practice that was
Yeah.
cultivated over a lot of time.
And I love what you're saying, because a lot of women, when they start, you're like, you want to go through a journey, you need to change that. You need to create the gap. I love the way you articulating it. And they're like, I don't have time to do it. That's the first answer always. Women's
Of
like, I don't
course.
have time. But it doesn't take long, right?
No,
Three
and it's just a
minutes, 5
choice.
minutes. It's just
It is a choice. I mean, I've obviously coached, hundreds of women, and I've had many that are like, the day got away from me. I didn't have time. And I'm like, this is a choice. Just like you put it in your calendar, just
yeah.
like you are anything else. If you're going to go pick up your kids from this activity, or you're going to have this meeting, or you're going to get on this call, like, you just make, until it becomes a natural part of your life, until it becomes an embodied part of your life. You just like, if you're gonna go exercise, the
Mm,
first few times you have to sort of force yourself or make
mm.
time for it. It's the same thing, and there's nothing more important in this world than a woman who's leading herself on this journey. There's just the ripple effect in your own life, in your home, in the world around you is so profound. Like, there's
I love
nothing more
it.
important.
This is so important. There is nothing like a woman leading herself through her journey.
Exactly,
This is
exactly.
beautiful. And I'm repeating to everyone, there is nothing better than a woman leading herself.
No.
And I think you are such a beautiful example of that, because you led yourself through everything, right? Through your
Thank you.
career, through being a mom, through educating yourself to ground your energy and become the leader you are for other women. It takes work, right?
It does. Thank you for acknowledging that. And it does. It was not it was not easy. But it was a choice. It was a choice to like lean in, and then when you see the impact and you start to see the results, and it's like, okay, I have to keep going,
Keep
keep
going.
leaning in farther and deeper. And it is self leadership,
And keep
um,
on believing. We're all about the BAL method, which is believe and act and lead. But it all starts when you say it's a choice. And you repeated it, and you so rightly, because it is a choice. You get to make the choice.
yes.
How can the choice become easy and natural to make for women?
Well, when you start to look at the costs, right? Like what are the costs of not doing it? And what are the
Yes, I love
costs
that.
of, yeah, when you tap into, like, especially so many women in my world are either spiritual or they are God led, or they feel like they're here, if nothing else, they're here for a bigger purpose. They know that they're supposed to be impacting other people, but their own resistances and limitations are holding them back, and that is frustrating as hell when you know you're supposed, but you're like, I'm not doing it. So that's where the choice become, at some point the choice is inevitable, and the choice is easy when you're like, I and then if you have children, then I think that's just like the extra, like, gasoline on the fire, like,
That's right.
I have to do it for them,
I
like,
have to do it. Yeah,
they're,
no,
they're the
yeah,
cycle breaker, the generational trauma
yeah.
breaker, whatever it is. Like, you're like, okay, like, now the stakes have just gotten higher. So
Higher.
I've always said from the very beginning of my coaching business, figure out how you get leverage over yourself. Sometimes we need that push.
That's
I
true.
don't, I obviously, if you go back to my early content, I talk a lot about burnout. That
Hmm.
in my legal career, I was very burnt out and my health
Oh,
suffered, and all of this, but I didn't see it at the time.
of course, you won't even recognize it because you don't have time to look at yourself, not even in the mirror.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and so I don't, now where I'm at in my journey, I don't like to do things from pressure.
Mm.
However, we all need leverage over ourselves sometimes. Sometimes it's like, what do I need to do? Do I make the investment and that's what causes me to show up? Is
Yeah.
it I look at, what am I passing on to my children? Like, does that, the weight of that, give leverage to yourself to, where the choice then becomes easy. It's like,
And
okay,
that's beautiful advice to everyone. I love that, Bridget, is to everyone, give yourself leverage. Find the leverage. And
yes,
if it's
find the
not a bigger
leverage.
one leverage, get something really big.
Yes, yes,
And we all find one, either whether
yes,
it is for ourselves with our lives, whether it is because my story can serve someone else, otherwise you put it aside, whether it is because you losing and you put in so much money out, and instead of going out there and becoming a reference and getting it.
yes. I love that.
You work a lot with money, and that's why I wanted to get our conversation to do that, because that's the most juicy part of the conversation. It is, the thing we don't talk. You
Yes,
have, and I love that about you, is you talk about finding the root cause of money problems. What does it mean? How are you able to speak about it so openly and like, okay, we have money problems, let's heal it.
yes, because I lived it, right? Because I absolutely lived it. I embody what I teach now,
Mhm, mhm.
and I very much believe that so many of us either avoid talking about money or our money patterns and loops because shame loves to live in secret, in the dark,
Mhm.
and the more that we can speak about it,
Mm.
shine light on it, it can dissolve.
Yeah.
But the root cause for me is the unfolding of my own journey, which was uncovering, and sitting with and healing inner child wounds.
Mm.
I look at it, sort of the methodology that I use and the framework that I use, which is just I mean, I didn't like think like, how can I fit this together? It was just the natural evolution of my work. Is
Mm.
it's inner child work, attachment theory, your attachment wounds,
Yes.
whatever your attachment style is,
Mhm.
and your nervous system healing. And the nervous system healing goes beyond regulation,
Yeah.
beyond just, the tapping and the breath work. Like, those are necessary and great tools.
Tools
But
you could
actually
use.
getting
Yeah.
to the root cause, there's an intersection of those three areas
Mhm.
that that lead you to the root cause of your money struggles or blocks or resistances, however you like to call them.
Whatever things that block you, could be money,
Yes.
could be anything else, right?
Yes,
Could
absolutely.
be
It's all
relationship.
related. Money is just a portal into all of your other stuff. Like money is a mirror to all of the other. The way we do one thing is how we do everything, right? But the
Yeah, that's
same
true.
is
Yeah.
so true. So like if you're having issues with money or blocks, or you're inconsistent, or you're up and down, that's
Uh-huh.
showing up in your relationships. That's showing up in your business. That's showing up in your health. It's showing. It's inevitable.
Yeah, because that's, I love to connect it with receiving, ability to receive things.
Absolutely. That's
If you
it.
can't receive money, you can't receive anything else,
Can't
right?
receive love. Money's on the same frequency as love. Like it's absolutely like you can't.
You can receive friendship, you can receive appreciation, you can receive any
No, you can't.
respect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
belonging. Yeah, you can't receive.
Belonging.
Yes,
Mhm. Wow.
absolutely.
Yeah, they are all connected.
All
It's
connected.
incredible. And it takes time to unfold all of this. And I think that's what get us frustrated, right? It's because
Yes.
you can't just say, okay, I clear this, I'm good. No, there are many
Yes,
things.
yeah, I always tell people, welcome to the human experience. Like it's
Absolutely.
just,
It's like,
yeah, it's
yeah.
just another layer, but once you embrace that, because especially once you get into a relationship with your shame that's underneath there, you realize that, it's about, just like with your ego work, it's not about, necessarily banishing it or getting rid of it. It's integrating it. It's starting to have a relationship with it and see, okay, I see you. What do you need? Let's dissolve this. Let's alchemize this. Let's soothe this so
Let's
that
do this. I
let's
love that.
soothe this. Yeah. So that you can sort of
Live with
coexist.
it.
And over time, it's going to
It
minimize. It's
goes
going to
away.
dissolve. Yes.
Then it goes,
Yes.
it's like fear, really, because
Yeah.
fear, it's overworked and overspoken. So people can say, okay, I'm scared, I'm going to launch this project, I'm scared. So you're like, okay, let's put the fear to calm. You calm the fear down. But that
Yes.
part of, connecting with your own feelings inside, it's
Yes.
hard to do.
It is. It's difficult. Absolutely. It's challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. What is helping you? I mean, I always, we talked about being a mom of four and having these responsibilities. In my understanding, my career, my children helped me keep on going when it was too stressful. And I sometimes say, I think I made it through all of that because of my children, even though they bring a lot of stress, but they also have a way of nurturing us in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Yes.
find that?
Yes, that's so interesting because I'm experiencing that. Well, really, especially with my younger two,
Uh-huh.
my daughter is like, she is my mini me, right? So she is my
Mhm.
biggest trigger, but also
Of course.
she's very, very intuitive. She's a magical little girl. She's extremely emotionally intelligent for a 9-year-old, and she senses. And sometimes I'm like, she comes and she's very nurturing to me,
Yeah.
and she picks up on stuff, and I'm just like, wow, like this is what my inner child needs. And of course, it
Mhm.
makes me more mindful of what I'm giving her.
Of course.
But it's like, wow, like
How did
it's
she pick up on
just
that?
how did she pick up on that? And just
Yeah.
little
Mm.
touches, little things.
Yeah.
Mom, you're beautiful. I'm just
Mm.
like, oh, she's, I'm like, wow, it's amazing,
Yeah.
that and that always encourages me to keep doing this work, and when things are hard, to keep going.
Mm.
And then my youngest son, he's 8, and he's on the autism spectrum,
Mhm.
and he's just like also a little beautiful magical little
Mhm.
thing, and he's very high functioning. He's a high masker. He does
Mhm.
excellent in school and sports, and he has friends and all the things. But he has to work very hard. Like he perseveres. That kid works so hard. Like on his
Bless,
handwriting, he's like,
bless. Yeah.
yeah, he's so sweet, but he's such a hard worker.
Mm.
And so he's such a teacher to me. He has been since the moment he's born.
Mm.
But it just shows me like, oh, never, like never give up. It
Mm.
sounds so, you know, cliche to say, but like never
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
up.
Never give up.
And
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just
yeah, and if
right.
he can face challenges like he does every day, then certainly I can.
Yeah, and that's really nice. And the fact that you notice this nurturing part from the children, it started to switch the relationship and the connection with them.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know if you
It's-
have noticed that as you become, more an authority in what you do, and you're mastering that, and you're going through the whole process yourself to be able to lead others to doing the same. You see it even in the family and the nurture.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's the
Absolutely.
joy that comes with it, isn't it?
Yes. And then to watch my husband's journey as well of him,
Mhm.
I always felt like my vibration, my frequency was over here and he
Mhm.
was somewhere off the chart over here, and over time I just, I've always
You
told my
started
clients, and
to.
I had to walk the walk myself. Like the feminine leads, the feminine always goes first, and you
It
just
does.
hold
Yeah.
the frequency, do your work, focus on yourself. And anytime I wanted to, I don't know if you were into human design or not, but
Mhm.
I'm a 5 line, and so is my husband. So
I'm a
like we're
five
both
two.
like,
I'm 5'3".
oh, are you 5? I'm a 5'2". He's a 5'1". Yes, of
Okay.
course you're a 5'1".
So
Of
a lot
course you
of
are.
similarities.
Yes,
Incredible.
but
Okay.
like the projections onto each other, and so I just had to keep holding my truth, and just, and then he rise to meet me, rise
Activate
to
him. That's
activate him.
incredible.
That's
This is the
yes.
most beautiful thing. And I think a lot of people just watching us and think it's all about the relationship. You get to change inside your attitude, your femininity, your feminine energy, everything else get activated to your level.
Absolutely, that's it.
And it's in all sense, just the partner, the children, the business, the money, really everything. It's
Everything. It's a
incredible.
ripple effect. It is
It
a ripple
is.
effect. And that's why when I say, like, it's a choice. And
Yeah.
when you start to see the changes, it's undeniable.
I wish they told us that at school,
Of
like,
course. Yeah. I wish they could have
I
told
mean,
me a lot of
it's so
things.
much different.
I'd like my money back. Yeah. They didn't
Yeah,
tell
you're
me a
like,
lot of
okay,
these
it's
things.
like imagine if you had all of that and you were a lawyer. Do you
Yeah.
think you would have stayed as a lawyer or you'd have switched anyway? What do you think?
I know I would have switched anyways, but my husband is a lawyer, so I get to live vicariously through him and watch him. And he actually made a huge career switch a couple of months ago to a
Mhm.
different practice area. He switched sides,
Uh-huh.
and to watch his abundant mindset like completely change from who he was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even
Yeah.
2 years ago, and just watch and how he embodies these principles
Mhm.
and leadership, and you just spirituality and emotional healing and all of those things into his practice.
Yeah.
That, like, I'm like, okay, I get to witness that. I don't need
Incredible.
to be the
And you
one to
get
do
to
it,
see
but
it
I can.
firsthand, the real
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
Wow. That's marvelous. That's incredible.
Yeah, it
Really
is
well
incredible.
done.
Yeah, I'm very proud
You
of
are an
him.
incredible woman. I'm so happy we get to share all this nuggets and all this incredible wisdom with everyone. Like, really, we spoke about everything, like everything that touches us. It's like
Yes.
no matter
Yes.
what, everything. It's like find the leverage to get yourself to get the right choice, right, in your life. And then almost like what I want to like use as a conclusion in a beautiful conversation is that no matter who you have around you, you can align them with anything you
Yes.
want them.
It's so true. It is
Ah,
so true.
it's incredible.
But yes, yeah, it is. Is extremely powerful, and it's a gift that we have as the feminine, but also
Yeah.
it's I feel like it's an obligation. Those of us who are, online, and I don't mean like on the internet, but I mean like you're tapped
Yeah.
in, you have a
Yeah.
gift, you're supposed to be doing bigger things, you're supposed to be leading other people, you
Mhm.
must lead like you say, you must lead yourself.
Yes.
And yeah, and it's a choice, and it's a beautiful
And
ending
we
when
want
you
so
lead
many
yourself.
leaders like us, like you,
Yeah.
like all of us, putting our hands together and sharing this because more we share it, more people will get to see that, you get to create your life when
You
you
do.
come and find grace in you. I love the word.
Yes, and amplify that. Yeah,
Amplify
absolutely.
that. So beautiful. One last sentence, one last questions before we leave. What is your take on leadership? How do you define it?
Oh, leadership. Yeah, I mean, the self leadership is what leadership is somebody who is embodied in self leadership, so that you can in turn almost effortlessly lead
Mm.
other people in a movement, in a feeling, in an endeavor, a project, whatever it is. But it all begins and ends with your self leadership. I mean, there's no way around it. Somebody who's trying to lead somebody who can't lead themselves is going to crumble and fall away.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just, and being able to, if you have the gift of motivating or, you know, inspiring people, but it's deeper than that. It really goes back to everything, the principles of self leadership.
It goes back to all within you, actually. Exactly.
Yes, a
And to
hundred
all the
percent.
work that you do and the healing, the finding the root cause to, like connecting with yourself and
That's it.
going beyond what is blocking you. This was so beautiful. I loved our conversation. It was so
Me
much
too.
fun.
Thank you
Really, it
so
was
much. Yes.
beautiful woman,
Fred.
incredible leader, and I congratulate you for everything that you are doing. Really,
Oh,
so,
thank you. The feeling is 100% mutual.
thank you everyone for being with us. Thank you everyone, and I look forward to seeing you all in another episode. Thank you so much, Bridget.
Thank you.